Hi Virgo, how's everybody doing? Before we get into it, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. So I'm seeing something that we're letting go of, but something that we may be having a hard time letting go of. It's like maybe you feel a little bit resistant to making this move. You may be worried about what's going to happen if you do. We're starting off with the Ace of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles. This would be starting things off in a place where you feel like you're being compensated in the way that you want to be, where you feel like energetically you're being shown up for in the way that you want to be and that you're doing the same. There's a sense too of knowing your worth and knowing how you want to be treated and not accepting anything less than that. Knowing that you're going to find what you need and to uphold the standards that you've created for yourself. This means too, not changing what you want or lowering your standards if something isn't meeting that for you. So it's about knowing where you're willing to compromise and also what you're not willing to compromise on. Because you want to make sure that you're showing up for yourself in the way that you need to. So it's like if you know that you need something, or if you want something particular and somebody or something doesn't have that, it's about not compromising for yourself. Knowing that you can be flexible, but there are some things that if you kind of lowball yourself, you're going to be feeling like you're not getting what you need. I'm seeing this be related to how you feel valued by someone or something. This can be a job, how you feel valued by your place of work. This can also be a person. I'm seeing a lesson that you're completing. It feels like getting to the point of recognizing and developing your personal standards was the point of the exercise here. Something that you're doing successfully with the Six of Wands on the bottom of the deck. I'm seeing a relationship, something that's bringing, I'm hearing added stress into your life. There's a sense of feeling overwhelmed by this connection. Maybe you feel like there are a lot of responsibilities that you're taking on. Maybe this is also about lightening your load too. Because you may be taking on more responsibilities than you're actually comfortable with, but out of like obligation or duty. And this is about figuring out where you need to release some stuff. Because it seems like you have a lot that's expected of you, and maybe you even sign up for taking on more than you can manage at times. And just because you can get something done doesn't mean that you have to do it as well. This is about you balancing your mental health as well here. Maybe you feel like there isn't enough shared responsibility even in a connection that you have. I'm seeing this be centered around a relationship of yours. This is a personal relationship. So whether this be like an intense partnership at work, or this has to do with a living situation, or someone that you're in contact with frequently, or somebody you're married to, things like that. There's a sense of like the weight not evenly being distributed. But remember too that this is also what we sign ourselves up for. Because sometimes we just have to back away from certain things rather than being like, I'll do the extra work and then feeling resentful of it. It's about checking in with yourself and being like, am I actually willing to do this? Or is this going to cause a sense of tension and resentment for me? And maybe you're going to be letting go of some things that you had been doing before. You may kind of feel like if you don't step in and do things that no one else will, and maybe there's a sense of reevaluating some dynamics here and asking how you've gotten yourself in this position, if it's something that you want to continue maintaining. It looks like it's not something... It looks like what you're doing right now is going to continuously having you feel burnt out until you drop some of the stuff that you're doing. You know, too, with Virgo and its shadow, it can take on a lot of stuff. Virgo's very service oriented, and so there's a sense of sometimes playing the martyr a bit. Can be, and we all have Virgo somewhere in our charts. We all have the 6th house, so it really feels like a reevaluation is happening. And maybe too, you feel valuable when you're providing service for other people, of service, doing things, getting things done. You like having things to do, but it just seems like too much is on your plate right now. It seems like even though some things are stressing you out, you may feel a bit like stubborn or resistant to actually letting these things go, but I'm seeing it be necessary again for your mental health. You may even be, maybe a specific message, stressing out financially. Like there may be a lot of different things that money is being allotted towards, and maybe there's some budgeting that's necessary as well, I'm seeing, to free up some space, to free up some finances. It's interesting because I'm seeing the main theme be like, whatever this is that's happening ad nauseum, there's a sense of being resistant to letting it go. So it's like the thing that's stressing you out, there's a sense of like still holding on to it and resisting this purge that is coming. But I am seeing a purge that's coming. Otherwise, something may like get to a tipping point for you. It seems like you can't carry on doing the same thing that you had been doing. Ooh. I'm seeing for some of you, there's some type of new position or even job offer that you're getting. It's something where you're going to be being compensated in a way that you feel is what you've been looking for. Yeah, for some of you, you could be starting a new job or a new position, some sort of new responsibility. This is something that would have taken some time to come through, but it seems like now this is finally happening. This can also be related to a person. You could be starting something new, like you could have a new business partner, someone coming into your life to help you out financially, even advising you financially. I'm seeing Saturn and Jupiter next to each other here. And this kind of mirrors the, like, what I'm seeing here. With Saturn energy, it can kind of be like a restrictive energy. It's about responsibilities that we have, commitments we have, hard work, consistency, things like that. And that very much mirrors the 10 of Wands here, which is like so much responsibility. You feel very overwhelmed. There's a sense of like having too much going on to be able to efficiently get the job done. And so you may be neglecting other things. And then we have Jupiter here, which Jupiter wants to break out. Jupiter wants to expand. Jupiter likes a wide breadth of things. And I'm seeing it be like right now what your concerns are, and maybe the things that you're committed to, or even committing yourself to, the things that you're signing up for. It may be too much on your plate right now, and it's holding you back from expanding in the way that you're kind of being guided by the universe to expand with. Like, it may be making it harder to obtain something that you're trying to obtain even. It seems too like something that you may have... Something that you may have wanted came to fruition, but you might be biting off more than you can chew with this, and you have to let it go. There's some type of disappointment that needs to be let go of too. Like, I'm seeing some stuff emotionally that's being worked through right now, but there's again a sense of resistance to letting this go. It feels like there's a synthesis that needs to happen between like your emotional and spiritual state and also the things that you're taking on in relation to your responsibilities. I'm hearing new job assignment with the Hierophant and the King of Pentacles here. You may be connecting with a Taurus. Something work-related. Interesting. So there's a lesson being completed, and there's a sense of expanding outward from this, because when I see the world, it's like some type of cycle that's now completed, something that you've finished. So this can be like you're graduating from something. It can be a cycle, like it can be something spiritual, but this can also be like graduating from a job, or you're expanding further, especially with the Wheel of Fortune below it. It's kind of like what's coming next for me. And there's a sense of walking away from something that you're ready to finally leave, because there's a sense of knowing that you can find further fulfillment elsewhere. But this may be something that you're still going back on, back and forth on, back on. Interesting. Okay. So it's kind of something like in your heart, you know what you want to do, but you still, for some reason, may be going back and forth, and maybe because of some type of commitment again. But this is also about checking in with yourself and maybe understanding why you're committed to something, and if you still want to be committed to that, like what your reasons are for taking on certain responsibilities. It feels like there's something going on with the inner authority, and a sense of like maybe feeling two different ways about something. It's like in one way you feel committed to something and obligated towards that, and in another way you know that you're not being fulfilled by it and you actually want to walk away from it. This can be a contract for some, to a person, to a place. And that may be making you question things. It's almost like you may feel like you have a duty to stay somewhere even, but there's a sense of knowing that you're not fulfilled within this, and that you have the potential to obtain something more satisfying for yourself through expansion and growth. But this would mean also you'd have to be taking a risk or a chance with something too. And maybe that's something that you feel uncomfortable doing. I'm seeing something coming to an end. This also means that the stress is going to be coming to an end as well. I'm seeing a long-term commitment here. Someone you could have had a marriage with at some point in time. You could still be married to this person. Could have been a serious or committed relationship in the past. This is someone you have history with. I'm seeing this all come to an end here. It feels like you know that this is kind of a stressful move to make, but it's still something that you want. So there's a sense of like knowing that it's going to feel, I'm hearing eventful. but knowing that you still want to do it. If you're being true to yourself. The interesting thing is that I'm seeing very clearly that you know what you want, but there's a sense of whether or not you're going to do it, and you may be stressed out by things in the 3D that are kind of blocking you, maybe even from your heart chakra is what I'm getting. For some of you, there would be some type of legality involved in this with the Justice card popping out. This can even be a divorce for some with the Ten of Swords next to the Justice card. You may be working with like some type of legal team even. It seems like this is going to help you release something that is just long overdue, that you're ready to let go of now. And maybe you're more willing to work with yourself too and kind of face the music. This is what I'm getting here. It seems like until you're like ready to release something emotionally and that it didn't turn out in the way that you had hoped for it to, there's a sense of like when you finally turn around and you're ready to like get things back on track and get moving in the direction that you're being called in, that's when something is going to come together. And you may be working with someone financially or someone that's supporting you, someone that's giving you legal advice even. I'm seeing a lot about contract and commitment here, and about like what's fair and what's balanced for you. And this does very much look like beating a case for some. Interesting. Some type of legal matters relating to a relationship. This is about your happiness. And about letting go of the illusion, any type of illusion or misunderstanding that's been holding you back from obtaining what you're looking for. I feel like this is also about yourself and your empowerment and doing something for you, something that you want to do. But you may even at times, you may at times feel a little bit out of touch with yourself, in a way where like there are aspects of yourself that you may kind of not be so embracing of, but it seems like the more you're listening to yourself, you're understanding your needs and the right moves for you to be making. Also, for some of you, if this isn't a marriage, you could be living with someone and you may end up breaking up with them and moving out. There's a sense of, for some reason, I'm seeing like legal matters be involved in this. And this is something that I rarely speak on, but channeling wise, I'm definitely getting that here. Like there may be some type of legal action that needs to be taken. Or some type of government involvement even. I'm hearing housing, something about housing. Okay. I'm looking at Saturn and Jupiter, Taurus and Libra. Okay, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.